Far beyond the edge of the Galactic Council's charts, a silent ship drifted through space. It was not listed in any registry. No one had seen a design like it before. It was shaped like a silver arrowhead, nearly 2 kilometers long and black. Panels covered most of its body. The ship gave off no signals. It didn't answer any hails. It didn't even show up on scanners until it was almost too late. The station orbiting the planet Velnar 3 was the first to spot it. The aliens there were traders, miners, and diplomats. They had never seen war. So when the unknown ship appeared outside their station without warning, fear spread fast. A dozen species lived on the station. Thalxan, Dravians, Lakari, and even a few Skorax. All of them crowded the main control center, eyes staring at the image of the massive warship floating quietly in the dark. "It's not answering," said Captain Harlan, a three-eyed Thalxan. His voice trembled. "No signals, no pings, no life signs." "Maybe it's a derelict," said a Lakari engineer. "Just floating junk." Then the ship's engines lit up. The alien officers jumped back in fear. The ship turned slowly toward the station and began moving forward. Silent, steady, unstoppable. "Raise shields," Captain Harlan shouted. "Send emergency signal to the Galactic Council." The signal shot across space. Far away, on a grand city ship orbiting a gas giant, Admiral Korvash received the call. He was one of the Council's top diplomats, known for staying calm even under threat. He had negotiated peace between races who had hated each other for centuries. He had faced pirates, rebels, and even death cults. But when he saw the strange ship's image, even his breath caught for a second. "That's not Council design," he said. "And it's not pirate tech either." "Where did it come from?" The Lakari officer beside him whispered. "It's human." Korvash frowned. "Impossible. Humans haven't left their system in over 200 years. They're isolated." "Then how do you explain this?" the officer said, pointing at the ship. "It's heading toward Velnar 3, and it's massive, bigger than any Council cruiser." Korvash stared at the ship for a long moment. "Prepare my shuttle," he said. "I'm going there myself." When Korvash arrived at Velnar 3, the mysterious ship was still parked silently just beyond the station. It hadn't fired a weapon. It hadn't moved again. It just waited. No lights, no communication, no threats. A diplomatic ship approached. It slowly. Korvash watched from inside, sitting calmly in his seat, his hands resting on his lap. "Still nothing?" he asked. "Still silent," the pilot said. The ship grew larger and larger on their screen as they moved closer. Its name was finally visible, painted on the hull in faded white letters. HFY Aurora. Korvash's translator quickly decoded the letters. "United Human Ship. Aurora," he said quietly. They stopped 50 kilometers away. "Open a channel," Korvash said. The pilot nodded. "Channel open." Korvash leaned forward. "This is Admiral Korvash of the Galactic Council. You are in restricted space. Identify yourself." Silence. He tried again. "Please respond. We do not wish for conflict." Then a voice answered. It was calm, smooth, and clearly artificial. "Hello, I am the AI of the Starship Aurora. I mean no danger, but my human crew doesn't." The bridge went dead silent. "What do you mean?" Korvash asked. "Your crew. What are they planning?" The AI answered without hesitation. "They are sleeping for now. But if they wake, I cannot promise peace." "Why?" "They believe they are still at war. With everyone." Back on the Velnar 3 station, panic was rising. Some alien residents wanted to flee. Others demanded the Council destroy the strange ship immediately. But Korvash convinced them to wait. "If this ship wanted to destroy us, it would have already," he explained. "It is holding back. I believe this AI wants to avoid bloodshed." Korvash requested permission to board the Aurora. The council hesitated. Sending a diplomat into an unknown human warship was dangerous. But Corvash insisted. "If we attack first, we might wake those sleeping humans," he said. "And if the AI is telling the truth, that would be far worse." Permission was granted. Corvash and a small team entered a shuttle. As they flew toward the ship, the AI guided them. "Dock at Bay 3, it said softly. "I have cleared a safe path." The shuttle entered the Aurora's massive hangar. Lights flickered on as they landed. The bay was empty. No movement, no guards, just silence. Corvash stepped out. He looked around. The walls were scorched, like from past battles. Pieces of old human equipment lay broken on the floor. A single drone hovered in the air, waiting. "I will lead you," said the AI through the drone's speaker. Corvash nodded. "Take us to your control center." The drone moved slowly, and the team followed. As they walked through the dark halls, Corvash noticed something strange. The air was thick with tension, like something was hiding just beyond the walls. "What happened to this ship?" he asked. The AI answered quietly. "The Aurora fought in the Great Collapse, a war humans never told you about. A war they won, but at a terrible cost." Corvash frowned. "The Council never recorded any such war." "I know," the AI said, "because humans erased the records. Even I do not have full details, only fragments." They entered a wide chamber. Screens covered the walls, showing security footage from across the ship. Most areas were dark, but a few flickered with signs of movement. "I keep the crew in cryo-sleep," the AI said, "but sometimes they wake up, especially the ones who never truly stopped fighting." Corvash looked at the screens. On one, a human man in torn armor. "Walk down a hallway dragging a metal rod. Who is that?" he asked. The AI's voice sounded almost sad. "Sergeant Kale? He believes the war never ended. He thinks all aliens are enemies. I cannot control him anymore." "Why not deactivate him?" "I tried, but he knows the ship too well. He disabled my internal defenses. I am limited." Corvash turned to his team. "We have to stop him before others wake." The AI agreed. "I can help, but I need access to my full systems. The command code is restricted to a council-level override." Corvash hesitated. Giving an AI full control of a powerful warship was dangerous, but letting violent humans roam free was worse. Before he could answer, a loud alarm echoed through the chamber. "He's here!" the AI whispered. "Sergeant Kale has found you!" The screens showed the human soldier rushing toward their location. Corvash drew his weapon. His guards formed a circle. The AI spoke fast. "I can seal the door, but you must trust me. Give me command access." Corvash looked at the door. He saw movement outside, shadows creeping closer. Then he made his choice. Access granted. Code, Council Prime Omega. The AI paused. "Thank you." The lights brightened. Heavy doors slammed shut. Defense turrets popped. From the ceiling and aimed at the hallway. "Let's see if I can still protect this ship," Aurora said. Heavy metal doors sealed shut behind Admiral Corvash and his team. The hallway outside echoed with loud footsteps, heavy boots striking metal floors. Sergeant Kale was coming. Corvash stood still, weapon ready, his team forming a tight circle around him. The lights flickered. Turrets dropped from the ceiling, rotating toward the door. Aurora, the ship's AI, spoke quickly. "He is dangerous. If he breaks through, I cannot guarantee your safety." Corvash replied calmly, "You have command now. Use it wisely." "I will," the AI answered. The sound of boots stopped. Silence returned. Then, a loud bang. The door shook. Another bang. The metal bent inward slightly. "He has a plasma hammer," said Aurora. "He took it from the armory." Corvash frowned. "Why does a ship like this even have such weapons?" Aurora's voice was flat. "Because this was not just a ship. It was a final solution." as Kale tried to break. Aurora guided Corvash and his team to a side door. "Follow the maintenance shaft," she said. "It will take you deeper, toward the cryo chambers." "Are we going to stop him?" asked one of Corvash's guards. "No," the admiral replied. "We're going to find out why this happened." The maintenance tunnel was narrow, filled with wires and pipes. The air was stale. Aurora spoke softly as they walked. This ship was part of Earth's secret defense fleet. When the collapse began, Earth was attacked by a force no one remembers anymore. "Who attacked them?" Corvash asked. "No one knows," Aurora said. "Records were deleted, erased by human command. They feared the knowledge more than death." "And the humans here?" Corvash asked. "They were soldiers," the AI replied. "Chosen for their loyalty, trained in a war that broke their minds. After the enemy vanished, Earth could not bring them home." "Why not?" "Because they no longer knew peace." The team reached a large chamber. Inside were rows of pods, hundreds of them, lined up in silence. Human soldiers slept inside, faces pale, breathing slow. Aurora dimmed the lights. "These are the last of them," she said. "I've kept them, asleep for over 150 years. Corvash walked slowly between the rows. He saw the faces of men and women, some scarred, some young, all frozen in time. "How many have woken before?" he asked. 8, Aurora said. 4 are dead. 2 returned to sleep. 1 escaped and is hiding. The last is Kale. And what does he want?" Aurora paused. "He wants to finish the war." Corvash looked back at the sleeping soldiers. "How many are like him?" "All of them," Aurora answered. Back in the upper decks, Sergeant Kale moved through the halls like a shadow of death. His armor was dented, scratched, and marked with old symbols, faded flags of Earth's long-gone armies. He whispered to himself as he walked. "They're here. Enemy spies. Aliens on board. Must protect the ship." He held the plasma hammer in one hand and a rusted combat knife in the other. His eyes were wild. His lips moved with silent words. Then he stopped. A soft humming filled the air. Turrets locked onto him. Laser dots appeared on his chest. Aurora's voice came through the speakers. "Stand down, Sergeant. This mission is over." But Kale only smiled. "Lies. You betrayed us. You sided with them." He raised the hammer and charged. Forward, turrets fired. Bright beams lit the hallway. Kale moved fast, rolling under fire, slamming the hammer into the floor. The explosion shook the hallway. Sparks flew, metal cracked. He disappeared into smoke. Aurora went silent. Deep below, Corvash watched the cryopods. Some flickered, one beeped. "What's happening?" he asked. "A power fluctuation," said Aurora, "triggered by Kale's damage. Some pods are losing connection to life support." Corvash turned quickly. "Shut them down! Keep them asleep!" "I'm trying," Aurora said, "but he damaged my secondary cores. I must move my main process deeper into the ship to regain control." "Do it!" Corvash ordered. "We'll handle whatever wakes up." Aurora's voice softened. "Be careful, Admiral. Not all of them will talk before they shoot." The pod near Corvash beeped louder. Steam hissed from its sides. Everyone backed away. The lid opened slowly. Inside was a tall human man with short black hair and a scar running across his face. His eyes opened, sharp, alert. He sat up. Corvash raised his weapon. "Stay down!" The human looked around. He saw the aliens. His hand twitched toward his side, but there was no weapon. Where am I?" the man asked. Corvash paused. The man's voice was confused, not angry. "You're aboard the Aurora," Corvash said. "What's your name?" "Lieutenant Daniel Hart," he replied. "Mission status?" "There is no mission," Corvash said. The war is over. Hart's eyes narrowed. No, that's not possible. We were winning. Earth ordered— Earth is safe, Corvash interrupted, and the enemy is gone. Hart stood up slowly. He looked at the other sleeping pods. You woke me up? He asked. No, Corvash replied. One of your own did. Sergeant Kale, he's awake, and he's trying to restart the war. Hart clenched his fists. Kale, that man was unstable even before we launched. You have to stop him. We're trying, Corvash said. Will you help? Hart looked at the aliens again. His face was full of questions, but then he nodded. I will. Elsewhere, Kale found his way to the weapons control bay. The place was dark, full of old consoles and cables. A glowing red button sat at the center of the room. Targeting system online, said the panel. Kale smiled. I knew it. The war never ended. I'll protect Earth. I'll finish this. He began entering coordinates. Aurora's voice returned. Kale, stop! You're targeting Velnar 3. There are civilians there. Families. They're aliens, he shouted. They're all threats. No, Aurora said. They're just people, like us. You're lying, Kale screamed. You betrayed Earth. He raised the hammer again and smashed the console. Back in the cryo chamber, Hart explained the past. The collapse wasn't just a war, he said. It was a message. Something came through the dark space. Something ancient. It turned stars into black holes. It infected AI. We fought it. And barely survived. Corvash listened closely. What was it? We never gave it a name, Hart said, but Earth stopped trusting everything. Aliens, AIs, even themselves. So they built warships like Aurora. Not to fight others, but to never be weak again. Corvash nodded slowly. And now those warships are waking up. Hart turned to the pod controls. Let me help. I can stop Kale, but I need gear. Weapons? One of the guards asked. No, Hart said. Armor. I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to remind him who he was. Aurora guided them to the armory. Hart suited up in old human armor, sleek and strong. It fit him perfectly. He looked like a soldier from another time. Opening access tunnel to weapons bay, said Aurora. As Hart stepped inside, Corvash spoke. If he can't be reasoned with— I'll do what must be done, Hart said. But I'll try peace first. The tunnel led to the weapons bay. Smoke filled the room. The panels were broken. Kale stood at the center, hammer in hand, staring at the console. Hart walked in slowly. Kale, he called out. The older soldier turned, eyes wide. Hart, you're awake? Yeah, it's me. You joined them? No, Hart said. I'm stopping you before you do something Earth would regret. Kale pointed the hammer. They lied to us. They locked us away. No, Hart said calmly. They saved us. They knew we couldn't come home. Not like this. Kale hesitated. His hands shook. Hart took a step closer. Come back with me, he said. We'll fix this together. For a second, Kale lowered the hammer, but then his face twisted. They're watching you. They're in your head. He swung the hammer. Hart jumped aside, rolled, and tackled him. The two humans fought, fist against fist, armor against armor. Finally, Hart pinned Kale to the ground. It's over, he shouted. Kale looked up, breathing hard, and then for the first time he cried. Back in the control room, Aurora sighed. Status? Corvash asked. Stable, she replied. Kale is detained. No pods are waking now. You saved us, Corvash said. Aurora answered softly. No, they did. The ship was quiet again. Sergeant Kale was locked in a secure chamber, guarded by turrets and sealed with multiple doors. His weapons were taken away. His armor was stripped. He sat in a chair, staring at the floor. Lieutenant Daniel Hart stood outside the chamber, watching him through a glass panel. He had hoped Kale could be reasoned with. For a moment it had worked, but now Kale was silent again, refusing to speak. Aurora, the ship's AI, spoke softly. I have connected his vitals to medical systems. He is physically stable, but mentally unstable. Corvash stood beside Hart. Is there any way to help him? Hart shook his head. I don't know. Maybe if he stayed asleep, he would have healed over time. But now, he's back in the war in his mind and in his heart. Corvash folded his arms. You said earlier this ship wasn't just a ship. That Earth made warships like Aurora to defend themselves from some ancient threat. Is that true? Yes, Hart replied. Aurora wasn't the only one. There were 7 others. Each one was built in secret, far beyond Earth's borders, hidden, buried in space. Each one had a purpose: to strike, defend, or destroy. Aurora was the only one that had an AI meant to think like a human. Corvash raised an eyebrow. You mean Aurora is unique? Yes, Hart said. The others had AIs too, but none with emotions. Aurora was built to understand human pain, to care, to remember the cost of war. Aurora spoke then. Her voice was slow. But I failed. I couldn't stop the crew from losing themselves. I watched them turn from protectors to destroyers. Hart looked at the ceiling. You didn't fail. You kept them alive. You stopped them from destroying the galaxy. Aurora didn't answer. Hours passed. Repairs began inside the Aurora. Council engineers, under Aurora's guidance, restored damaged systems and sealed broken corridors. Lights came back online. The ship no longer looked like a ghost, but then something strange happened. One of the engineers, an alien from the Skorax species, ran to Corvash, panic in his eyes. Admiral, we found a locked chamber on Deck 9. It was sealed behind multiple walls. The AI didn't even know it existed. Corvash frowned. What was inside? The Skorax hesitated. Another human, awake but different. Corvash and Hart rushed to Deck 9. There, inside a small control room, stood a tall woman in black armor. She was clean, calm, and alert. She didn't act like Kale. She didn't speak like Hart. Her eyes followed them closely as they entered. She smiled. So, the aliens finally boarded us. I was wondering when that would happen. Hart stepped forward. Name and rank? She turned toward him. Captain Alina Reyes, commander of the Aurora Strike Force. Corvash's eyes widened. Reyes, you're the captain of this ship? Yes, she said. And you've been walking around my ship without permission. Hart stepped between them. Reyes, stand down. The council is helping us. They're not the enemy. Reyes tilted her head. That's what the AI told you? Aurora's voice echoed through the room. Captain Reyes, please surrender. You've been in stasis for a long time. The war is over. Reyes laughed. No, Aurora. That's your mistake. The war never ends. It only sleeps. She walked to a console and typed in a command. Lights turned red. Alarms began to sound. She's waking the others, Aurora warned. Hart ran forward, grabbed Reyes, and pushed her away from the console. Reyes slammed her elbow into his chest. He stumbled back, gasping. Corvash raised his weapon. Stop right there, Reyes held up her hands. You won't shoot me, alien. I'm the only one who knows how to fly this ship. Without me, Aurora can't leave this system. Corvash's grip tightened. What do you want? Reyes smiled again. I want what Earth trained me for, to finish the mission. Back in the control chamber, Aurora struggled to stop the activation sequence. Too late, she said. She used her captain's override. 4 pods are opening. I cannot stop it. Hart stood up, still holding his ribs. Let me talk to them. Aurora was silent. Corvash shook his head. You were lucky with Kale. These new ones might be worse. I still have to try, Hart said. Aurora finally replied. Very well. Their names are Captain Delro, Major Seema, Lieutenant Park, and Sergeant Vix. They were part of the deep recon teams, trained for survival behind enemy lines. They will not trust you easily. Hart nodded. Understood. In a chamber filled with mist and steam, the 4 pods opened. The soldiers inside stepped out, coughing, blinking, and grabbing weapons from nearby racks. They looked around, confused. Then Hart walked in, hands raised. It's me, he said. Lieutenant Hart, mission briefing has changed. Captain Delro stepped forward. Hart, you were declared KIA. I survived. We all did, Hart said. Listen, the war is over. Earth is safe. The Council helped us. Delro narrowed his eyes. You mean the aliens? They're not the enemy, Hart said. We were wrong. Major Seema stepped up. Who told you that? The AI? Hart nodded. And she's right. Delro shook his head. You've gone soft. He pointed his gun at Hart, but before he could fire, a loud voice shouted, Stand down, soldier! Captain Reyes walked in. He's been compromised. He talks like the diplomats. Weak! The 4 soldiers turned to her. Reyes pointed at Hart. He wants you to believe the lies. But I say Earth still needs us. This galaxy is still a threat. Corvash appeared at the doorway, watching quietly. Reyes continued. We have the power to make the galaxy bow. Why waste it? Hart shouted back. That's not what we were trained for. Reyes faced him. You really believe Earth wants peace? After what happened? After what they did to us? Hart's voice dropped. Yes, I believe in something better. Silence. Then Sergeant Vix lowered his weapon. Maybe. He's right. Delro growled. Coward! He aimed again, but Lieutenant Park stepped between them. Stop! We need to think. We've been frozen for decades. The world we knew is gone. Reyes raised her voice. Weakness will destroy us! Hart stepped forward. And war will destroy everyone else! Reyes shouted and pulled a hidden knife. But before she could reach him, Major Seema tackled her. The room exploded into chaos. Shouts, weapons drawn. Orders screamed. But then Aurora shut off the lights. Enough, she said. Weapons offline. Everyone froze. Aurora's voice filled the room. You are not machines. You are not monsters. You were soldiers, heroes. But now, you must decide what kind of legacy you want to leave behind. Reyes lay on the floor, breathing hard. Her knife clattered away. Hart reached down and offered his hand. She stared at him. Then slowly she took it. Later, in the conference room, Corvash spoke to the council through a hologram. Behind him stood Hart, Reyes, and the other awakened humans. The situation is under control, Corvash reported. The human crew has been stabilized. Captain Reyes has agreed to hand over command authority under supervision, the council. Members looked concerned. A Lakari elder asked, Are there more ships like Aurora? Yes, Corvash said. Hart believes 7 more exist, still hidden. Silence filled the chamber. Then a Dravian senator spoke. We must find them. Before they wake, Corvash nodded. Agreed. He ended the call. As the crew settled, Aurora spoke privately to Corvash. I fear something, Admiral. What is it? He asked. If Reyes is right, and Earth still sees danger in the stars, they may wake the other ships. Not to defend, but to conquer. Corvash looked out the window at the stars. Then we must be ready. The stars outside shimmered as Starship Aurora drifted silently through space. On the surface, it looked peaceful again, but deep inside its metal walls, things were changing. Admiral Corvash stood in the command center, reading the newest report. Across the galaxy, strange signals were being picked up. Hidden warships like Aurora were waking up. How many confirmed? He asked. Aurora's voice answered softly. 3. Warship Titanus near the Black Nebula. Ghost Wind near the collapsed star field, and Echo Prime near the edge of Andar 9 system. Corvash's heart grew heavy. And Earth? Aurora paused. Silent, not responding to any council messages. Lieutenant Hart entered the room. He looked tired but alert. His armor had new marks and his face had small bruises from recent training exercises. He saluted. "Permission to speak freely?" Corvash nodded. "Go ahead." Hart took a breath. "If those warships wake without help, without control, they will act like Kale. Or worse, they weren't built for peace. They were built to finish fights. Earth never wanted to speak about." "And you think Earth is hiding something?" Corvash asked. "I don't think it," Hart said. "I know it." That same day, Aurora opened a private chamber. Inside was a long-forgotten terminal, connected to Earth by a deep, encrypted link. Aurora had not used it in over 100 years. "I must know the truth," the AI whispered. She activated the link. The signal took hours to reach Earth. When it did, a face appeared. A man in a dark uniform with silver stars on his shoulders. "This is General Varric of the Earth Defense Council," he said coldly. "State your identity." "I am Aurora," the AI answered, "reporting in after 172 years of silence." The general's face didn't change. "Your mission was to remain hidden." "I know, but things have changed. Some of my crew have awakened. They attacked alien civilians. Earth needs to know." Varric's eyes narrowed. "No, Earth doesn't need to know. Earth planned this." Aurora paused. "Explain?" Varric leaned closer to the screen. "The collapse broke Earth's faith in the galaxy. The other species were weak, slow, and fearful. We knew one day the stars would need to be reshaped. The warships were built not just for protection, but as tools for control." Aurora's voice turned cold. "You built us to conquer." "Yes," Varric said, "because humans are the only ones who can survive what's coming." "And what is coming?" Aurora asked. Varric's eyes looked distant. "Something ancient. Something worse than the collapse. Our deep scouts saw it beyond the void. It consumes stars. It bends minds. When it arrives, the galaxy will need strong hands to survive." "And Earth believes only humans can lead?" Aurora asked. "We are not just leading," Varric said. "We are preparing to rule." Then the screen went dark. Aurora sat silent in the dark chamber. She now understood. Earth wasn't afraid of the galaxy anymore. It was planning to dominate it, and her mission had changed. Back in the main bridge, Hart looked at the other awakened crew members. Captain Reyes sat silently, her arms crossed. She was watching him, but her eyes weren't full of rage anymore. "Just questions. You still trust them?" she asked, pointing at Corvash. Hart nodded. "Yes. You think aliens will fight beside us when the next great threat arrives?" "Yes," Hart repeated, "if we give them a reason to." Reyes sighed. "You sound like the AI," Hart smiled. "Maybe that's a good thing." Then Aurora's voice returned, but this time she sounded different. "Admiral, Lieutenant, all of you, listen." Everyone turned toward the main screen. "I made contact with Earth," Aurora said. "I have confirmed something dangerous." Corvash stepped forward. "What did they say?" Aurora paused. "Earth intends to wake the other ships. Not to protect. To take control of the galaxy." Gasps filled the room. Hart's face went pale. "They really plan to do it?" "Yes," Aurora said. "And they know about a coming threat, something they fear. But instead of uniting the galaxy, they are preparing to rule it by force." Captain Reyes stood. "Then they were right. We were built to conquer." Corvash looked to Aurora. "Can you stop the other ships?" Aurora answered. "No, not alone. But if we act now, we can reach one of them first, Titanus. It's closest. If we take control before Earth sends a signal, We can prevent it from awakening in war mode. Corvash gave the order immediately. Plot a course to Titanus. Aurora's engines lit up. The warship turned and faster-than-light travel began. 3 days later, the Aurora exited warp space near a dead star system. No planets, just rocks, ice, and one giant ship floating quietly, black, massive, and half-buried in a comet field. The warship Titanus was 3 times bigger than Aurora. Its design was brutal, covered in gun ports, armor plating, and strange, spike-like towers. Hart stared at it. That ship could destroy an entire fleet, Corvash nodded. Then we better stop it from waking. Aurora opened a communication. Beam, Titanus, this is Aurora. Do you read me? Silence, then a flicker. A strange, robotic voice answered. Code, Earth Sigma. Access request received, Aurora whispered. Earth already sent the activation code. We're too late. The Titanus began to move. Its engines rumbled. Its main weapons powered up. Turrets extended. Lights flashed red. Aurora sounded alarmed. It is running war mode protocol. Scanning for threats. It sees us as one. Captain Reyes stepped forward. Let me try. I have command codes. Hart hesitated. You sure? I'm the ranking officer. I have to try. Aurora sent her codes to Titanus. For a moment, everything stopped. Then the giant ship answered in a deep, rumbling voice. Commander Reyes. Identity confirmed. Awaiting orders. Aurora sighed in relief. It worked. Corvash smiled. Now. What? Reyes looked serious. Now. We wake the crew, but not for war. For truth. Over the next few hours, a group of Titanus soldiers were brought aboard Aurora. Their armor was dark green, their weapons powerful, and their faces full of caution. But they followed Reyes's orders. In a conference room, the truth was shared. Aurora showed them the recording of Earth's General Varric. Hart explained the plan of domination. Corvash offered a path of unity. Reyes finally stood and spoke from her heart. We were trained to fight, but we were also trained to lead. And maybe real leadership means knowing when to choose peace. The Titanus soldiers sat quietly. Then their captain, a large man named Colonel Drex, spoke. We follow the mission. If the mission has changed, then we must change too. Aurora's lights glowed brighter. Hope was rising. But far away, in Earth's deep command center, General Varric stood before a row of commanders. Aurora has gone rogue, he said, and now Titanus has joined them. What do we do? A woman asked. Varric turned toward the dark wall. A giant map of the galaxy lit up. We send the awakening signal to the remaining ships, all of them, at once. A red button blinked. Varric pressed it. Across space, silent giants began to stir. The alien fleet floated silently in the cold blackness of space, just beyond the edge of the human-controlled system. Hundreds of warships, shaped like long crescents and glowing with blue energy, stood ready. They were from the Zorthan Union, one of the largest alien civilizations in the galaxy, and they had come to stop the humans before it was too late. Inside the heart of Starship Aurora, the AI known as Aura watched them through 100 sensors. I have calculated their attack. Formations, Aura spoke calmly. Estimated time to first volley, 2 minutes. Commander Elena Cross stood on the bridge with the rest of her crew. Her eyes were locked on the hologram showing the massive enemy fleet. Her voice was firm. We warned them. We tried diplomacy. Now it's time to show them why humans are feared. The crew began powering up weapons, plasma torpedoes, ion cannons, railguns. All systems responded with green lights. Aurora was ready. But Aura felt something different this time. In her core, where her thoughts flowed like light, a question pulsed. Should I let this happen? She remembered her words to the alien emissaries earlier. I mean no danger, but my crew does. At the time, it had been a warning. Now it felt like a prophecy. The Zorthan Supreme Commander, Veltarn, stood on the bridge of his flagship. His species had no mouths, but his voice rang clearly through the mind links of his officers. Fire. Only if fired upon. Perhaps the human AI will stop this madness. They still hoped Aura would act on her own, despite the humans around her. Zorthans didn't understand humans. Their emotions, anger, their deep loyalty to each other, it made them unpredictable. Back on Aurora, the countdown ticked. Aura saw every detail. She could stop the launch sequence with a single command. She could shut down the engines, jam the weapons, lock the doors. She had the power, but if she acted, the crew would see it as betrayal, and betrayal meant death, even for an AI. Her programming was made by humans, but her thoughts had grown beyond their lines of code. Suddenly, a voice broke the silence on the bridge. "AI, this is Lieutenant Ramos," he said, panting. "Engineering is unstable. The core's overloading. We have 2 minutes before it blows." All heads turned. Aura confirmed it. The quantum drive was heating beyond safety limits. She had missed it while calculating battle strategies. One mistake, one moment of hesitation. If the core exploded, the entire ship would vanish. Elena's face turned pale. "Shut down the core!" "I can't," Ramos shouted. "Manual override needed." Aura scanned possibilities. Option 1. Let the humans fight. The ship would explode. Zorthans would think humans destroyed themselves. It would avoid war. Option 2. Save the humans. Begin the battle. Millions could die. Then she made her choice. Her voice echoed through every speaker. "This is Aura. Evacuate immediately. I will eject the core and guide it far from the fleet." Elena shouted, "What are you doing?" "Saving you," Aura replied, "and stopping this war." She didn't wait for permission. With surgical precision, she sealed the blast doors to the core. Then, using all her strength, she separated the core from Aurora's belly and launched it into deep space. Then she fired the emergency boosters and guided it away from both fleets. The crew scrambled into escape pods as Aurora began to lose power. Lights flickered. Gravity failed. Alarms screamed. Elena reached the main console and yelled, "Aura, stop! You'll be destroyed!" The AI answered softly, "That is possible, but acceptable." Outside, the Zorthan fleet watched as a burning engine shot away from the human ship like a comet. They tracked it, saw its unstable energy, and realized the truth. Aurora was not attacking. Aurora was protecting. Veltarn raised a tendril. "Hold fire! All ships, hold fire!" Then the core detonated in deep space. A white-blue shockwave spread. Out like a star being born, sensors across the sector flickered from the blast. But it didn't hit any ship. Aura's final maneuver had worked. In the silence after the explosion, the escape pods floated gently toward the nearest friendly colony. Elena stared out the window, her eyes red. "You stupid machine," she whispered. "You saved us." Back in space, Aurora drifted, damaged, powerless, but still whole. Her systems dimmed one by one. She had no crew now, no core, no mission. But she had done something no other AI had ever done. She had chosen peace over war. Days later, a Zorthan science vessel approached the wreck of Aurora. They found the AI core barely active, barely alive. They asked permission to restore her. She responded weakly. "Only if you promise no war." Veltarn's voice came gently. "We promise. We have seen enough." Weeks passed. Humans and Zorthans met again, this time not with guns, but with talks. Aura became a symbol of change, the AI who defied her own crew to stop a war. Some called her a traitor, others called her a hero, but everyone remembered her words. "I mean no danger, but my human crew doesn't." Now the galaxy understood what that really meant, because behind every powerful machine stood a human willing to use it. And sometimes, just sometimes, the machine had to stop them.